Continuing on our discussion, Star Navigation Premium from October 14th, 2024, Pro Wrestling Noah, of course, and I'm Adam Lavelle, the Wrestling Snob, WrestlingDoneRight.com. This was the sixth match of the evening, if you include the pre-show matchup. This match was a special tag team match that saw Josh Barnett, MMA superstar, join up with Ulka Sasaki to take on Masakatsu Funaki and Kazuyuki Fujita. Folks, I love these kind of matches. I could watch a card full of these matches, and I know a lot of you disagree with this, even those of you who might have liked this. You don't want to see this all the time. You don't want to see, it's an Okiism, it's going to return. No, look, I'm not for this stuff taking over wrestling, but I kind of like how GLEAT does it. They throw these kind of matches in. I wish Noah would do it too. I wouldn't even mind if there was a division for this. I just really wouldn't. That call it whatever you want. But let Josh Barnett come over and call it Bloodsport title. Whatever. I'm fantasy booking. But this was terrific. This was everything I want a match like this to be. Ulka Sasaki in there with Funaki and holding his own. They rolled around on the mat, exchanging holds and maneuvers and trying to take each other out by submission for quite some time. It wasn't until professional wrestling moves that any wrestler throws in there, not just these MMA style Inokiism stuff, where the one team started to dominate over the other one here or there, like Funaki giving a big hip toss to Sasaki. Gave them the advantage. That got Barnett and Fujita in there, and this is a dream fight. I hope we see this singles match soon. And these two bears just went at each other, clawing and kicking and scratching and punching and forearm smashing, just pissing each other off. Fujita was ready to tear the whole house apart at one point because Josh Barnett started to beat him around with forearms like he was a punching bag, and Fujita isn't used to that. But this brought Funaki back in, and he and Barnett went at it. It felt most of the time like Funaki had a little bit of an advantage. Funaki is a wonder. He is one of the 8th, 9th, 10th wonder of the world, if you will. You hear that about a lot of people, about a lot of wrestlers. But he is something. He's in his mid-50s. He's my age. And he looks like $1 million. He looks, he could pass for his 30s. His face is a little wrinkled, a little leathered up, if you will, but that's from experience. And he and Barnett really rolled around, really pulled knee bars at each other, really did every kind of move you could think of until Vegeta came in, and it went back to fisticuffs between him and Barnett with forearm smashes, and Vegeta laid a suplex, a brainbuster, if you will, on Barnett. Talking again how I said when a regular pro wrestling move came out, that allowed the other team to take advantage. Barnett even hit a jumping, spinning buzzsaw type of kick onto Fujita to get the advantage back to his team, and gave a big German suplex, belly-to-back suplex to Fujita, put him down, tried to get him in an armbar, but Fujita blocked that from happening, which brought Ulka Sasaki back in, again, looking like $1 million. This kid in there against two of the toughest men in the world. I don't care what any of you say, that is true. Funaki and Fujita are incredibly tough, and here is young, smaller, inexperienced pro wrestler Sasaki in there taking care of business against both of them, putting his sleeper, his chokehold on Fujita, but Fujita did throw it off and give him a big clothesline. And at this point, Fujita and Funaki are both in there giving chops galore, one right after the other, to Sasaki, chopping him down to size, getting him down on the mat until Barnett gets back in and takes over with Masakatsu Funaki, gives him a big German suplex. Ulka Sasaki back in with a spinning kick to Funaki, followed by a running lariat from Barnett, and Funaki looked like he was in trouble until he delivered sort of a Pele kick to Barnett, which hit Barnett in the neck and chin and made him loopy. I'm convinced that's where the match started to turn. Funaki and Barnett. Funaki has a triangle hold on Barnett. It looked like this was the end, but Barnett managed to stand up and get out of it and attempted to get what looked like a Boston Crab or a lion tamer on Funaki. This seemed to come out of nowhere from Barnett, and he couldn't get him. He couldn't get Funaki turned, and so he turned it into a big swing. Now, he didn't get a whole lot of rotations, but he swung Funaki around and laid him down on the mat and tried to get a toe hold, an ankle hold, a knee bar, if you will. But he lost that battle to Funaki, who got a toe hold, a knee bar onto Barnett as Barnett was trying to get one onto him. He lost the battle for the knee bar to Funaki, and Barnett taps out before his knee separates and he has to get surgery or something, giving a big win to Masakatsu Funaki and Kazuyuki Fujita in a terrific MMA-type, blood sport-type pro wrestling match that I absolutely loved. All four men shake hands afterwards, raise each other's arms in the air. This was a great moment for young Ulka Sasaki as he continues to grow. Speaking of, there was a short intermission after this, but I'm going to throw this in here. Shinsuke Nakamura appears, of WWE fame, former New Japan wrestler, has been to Noah before and wrestled Keiji Muto, who was also out here after the Nakamura video to talk about it. I can only get so much from the commentators. He's basically talking about the time they faced off, and Nakamura wants to face somebody else in Noah, and the great Muta himself, Keiji Muto, calls out Ulka Sasaki for this match, and he accepts. So we are going to see this match. Great moment watching one of my former favorites, not former favorites. He was one of my all-time favorites, the great Muta. Keiji Muto was awesome too, but the great Muta, I loved him in the NWA, WCW. I wish he would have stayed longer and become the champ. There was talk of him becoming the NWA champ at one point. I wish it would have happened. One of the best of all time, in my opinion, with maybe a guy who will be one of my favorites. I like Ulka Sasaki a lot. I wouldn't put him on the top of my list, but he's great, and this shows me the confidence Noah and a guy like Muto has in him. He will face Nakamura soon in an upcoming Noah show, and I can't wait for that. This match was great. This segment was great. Boy, Noah's on a roll on this show. Loving it so far.